thoughts, and yeah, just inshallah, you guys have any questions to answer those. Now, while everyone comes online, one thing I wanted to quickly talk about today is a quick reminder. Was that, you know, obviously we in the UK now are in pretty much lockdown, meaning that all all our activities, you know, going out, we're not allowed to go out unnecessarily unless, you know, it's for food or medication or necessary work. Everyone is supposed to be home. Everyone is supposed to be ensuring that they don't make the problem any worse by spreading the virus, by catching it, spreading it, etc. So we all have to play a part. And there's a few things I wanted to quickly share today in today's live stream. Give me a shout out, someone is saying. The Atib is saying, give me a shout out. I think I've given you a shout out by mentioning that you asked me to give you a shout out. Okay, assalamu alaikum salam. All right, okay, so basically, she wanted to share some thoughts in regards to what's happening, you know, the progress or the way this virus is actually just taking off the whole world, and, you know, subhanAllah, it's just brought everything to a halt, stopped everything, literally. You know, in the UK, especially now, we're at that stage where the government has officially said, look, it's lockdown, meaning you're at home, you don't go out unless there's a need to prevent the virus from spreading and the whole system from, or at least the whole of the NHS system from collapsing. And we don't want that to happen because there are, you know, the elderly need that support and that care. So one of the things I wanted to put out there was that as Muslims, primarily, because I know there's loads of Muslims that watch this channel, is that, you know, brothers and sisters, we need to be responsible, and we shouldn't think that, oh, you know, my actions aren't going to have an impact on the wider society. What I decide to do, the way I decide to act, you know, it's only for me, right? No one's gonna negatively be affected by my actions. You know, I'm just gonna quickly go out, I'm just gonna go see some friends, etc. We think that way, and if all of us thought that way, then we're not helping the situation. So we have to take that responsibility on an individual level, and especially as Muslims, if we recognize and we realize that we can be, as is in our deen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us clearly, you know, to save the life of one single individual is like to save the life of the whole of humanity, and vice versa. So we need to see it that way. We need to see it as a great responsibility, that, and understand that us going out publicly and being careless with this can result in the deaths of many more people. And we don't want that to happen. So we need to make sure we follow government advice, we stay at home, we work from home if we can, you know. I know everyone's situation doesn't allow for that to happen, but may God make it easy for all of us. So that was the first thing, is to be responsible. And especially as Muslims, we have to be responsible and look out for humanity, right? Because we should really understand and appreciate the value of human life. And in such times, the best thing we could do, and the best way we can protect others, is to keep ourselves away from others. As difficult as that is, and I know that's hard. Like I'm noticing myself. You know, this was my first, or one of my first official days working from home. And I can tell you guys, it's not easy getting used to that, especially if you're used to an office environment, if you're used to, you know, working a certain hour in a certain way, in a certain place. But we have to get used to it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy from many different perspectives, but we have to just be patient, be steadfast, and do the right thing, inshallah, in this time. Also, another thing I wanted to quickly reflect upon and share with you guys is, let me just see. Yeah, I can see your questions. Brilliant. Okay. The other thing I wanted to quickly share with you is this whole reality of death, right? It's not a comfortable topic. It's something we don't like talking about. It's something we don't like thinking about. It's something that, you know, is in the back of our minds, every single one of our minds, whether we're Muslim, whether we're non-Muslim, whether we're, you know, atheist, theist, whoever we are. Every single human being recognizes the imminent reality, which is death. Every single one of us, every single human being is going to die. How that happens is information that's not given to us. None of us know how our end will be, right? So, but we do know that we will die. That's one thing every single human being can be sure of, that death is inevitable, right? And especially during this outbreak, one of the things we're seeing is that the number of deaths, especially in the countries that are most affected, are rising and rising very, very quickly. For example, in the UK, just since yesterday, it's gone from 300 and something a number of deaths to over 400, and that's a lot. That's a lot of people that have lost their lives, you know, and it comes as a reminder, and it should come as a reminder to us all that death is a reality that all of us are going to face very soon, and therefore we should really, you know, start thinking about what we're doing in the time that we have in this world. You know, it's very beautiful verse from the Quran, and a scary verse too, in the 4th chapter, verse 78, where God says, and I'm just going to mention the beginning, where God says that death will reach you no matter where you are. It's going to get to you, even if you're in lofty towers, high towers, right? Something of meaning that we could take from this is that no matter how much you think you're protected, no matter how much of a comfortable place in the world you think you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter how well your living standards are, no matter how good you have it, you know, no matter, you can live in the first world, you know, especially like places in the UK, like the UK, America, Australia, Canada, you know, well-developed countries, you know, from a material perspective, we pretty much have it all. And humanity is doing, or was doing really well up until this pandemic. You know, you become comfortable. You start to think that I'm in a comfortable place. You know, all of these issues we see happening around the world in poorer countries, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to us. But the verse from God reminds us in this verse that, look, no matter where you are, how comfortable things are, death will reach you. You know, and therefore it should come as a reminder that you're never safe. You know, you're never safe from death, no matter how comfortable and luxurious life may be, no matter how much money you may have, no matter how good of a healthcare system you may have available to you. Death is inevitable. It's a reality of life. And therefore, you know, times like this get us to reflect upon it. Now, obviously, we shouldn't brood upon it and just keep thinking about it and worry ourselves and depress ourselves. But we should think of it in a healthy way, meaning that if we recognize and we realize that we will die, we're going to leave this world very, very soon, then that should really get us to reflect upon what we're doing here and how we should be using the time that we have in this life. You know, because I was thinking about it the other day. I mean, when you go shopping, and this obviously was playing on my mind because the way we're seeing shopping take place these days, right? SubhanAllah, it's crazy. The way we're just going absolutely crazy. Lines, queues outside big shopping centers just to get the essentials. And sometimes more than the essentials, and much more, unnecessarily more, to the point where we're taking away from other people. But when you go shopping, you know, you go, you know, you have 15, 20 minutes in the store, and if you know that, you know you're going to leave very soon, then you make sure you hold a good pace and you quickly go through the aisles and you get what you want to get, right? Because you know you're going to leave. You know you don't have the luxury of staying in the store for 6 hours, 7 hours a day, 2 days a week. You're not going to be there for that long. You have maybe a 15, 20 minute window where you're going to go shopping into that store, and therefore you're going to maximize the use of that time. You're going to go to every single aisle you need to go to. You're going to pick up all of the essentials you need to pick up. You're going to load your trolley and you're going to get out of there, right? But we don't think of life in that way. We should think of life in that way, because the reality is, you know, we have 50, 60, 70 years at best, right? Now, with such pandemics, with this coronavirus outbreak, many of us have probably questioned even that. No matter what age you are, you know, life has almost flashed in front of our eyes, in our minds, in a way which is far more, in a way which is not as confirmed. Like we're not thinking of, many of us are not thinking of it in the way that I have another 60, 70, 80 years. Where it's brought some this sense of unsurety. There's no, the surety is gone. That feeling or that comfort factor we had, that we are in a comfortable place, we live in a good place, part of the world, you know, life is good, we got another 70, 80 years on this earth. Many of us, we don't know. We don't know who's going to catch this virus. We don't know how that virus is going to affect a specific person as opposed to another person, because something about this virus which is quite intriguing is that it affects different people in different ways, and there's a huge spectrum. Some people get it, they have zero symptoms, they're asymptomatic, they have zero symptoms, they're just walking around like normal. And other people, it just kills them completely, it just destroys, it finishes them. You know, their body breaks down and they can't handle it. And that's scary, you know, and that really brings a whole big question mark to our own existence and our own lives. So if we understand we're going to die, we need to really be thinking about where we're going and what's coming, and what we're doing here and how we're going to make the best use of the time that we have here. That's something very important we think about, and I'm sure people are thinking about this, but as Muslims especially, we need to, there's one thing, it's, for me, this has happened as well. I've been thinking about this myself, that when things are good, we claim to be Muslim, alhamdulillah, inshallah we are, and we try to do the best we can, but we still have this level of comfort, in the things around us, and the level of trust in the things around us that we should have in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we have it in the things around us. And we somehow delude ourselves into thinking that I actually have my trust in Allah, but we're actually trusting in the things around us. But it's times like this where it really gets you to understand your internal state and realize that no, you are actually putting your trust in things in the world around you, as opposed to putting your trust in Allah. And therefore it's a perfect opportunity for Muslims especially, and for anyone else that wants to take this as an opportunity for us to reconnect ourselves back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, re-establish our relationships with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, recapture that pure and true understanding of what it means to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning that we have to put our trust solely in God. And really put our trust in Allah when we say that. And it's easier said than done, and something we should all be working towards, and especially in this time. Last thing I want to quickly mention is just for us to really appreciate the beauty of the time we find ourselves in and the opportunity that we're presented with. This, and trust me, from one perspective, this is such a priceless opportunity, brothers, sisters, and friends, honestly. Like, think about it. We're literally 4 weeks, maybe just under 4 weeks away from Ramadan. We've been put into a position where we're having to think about life and question life and reassess our lives and our relationship with God. And it's such an amazing opportunity to really put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, realizing that nothing is for certain, realizing that nothing is promised. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 hours. In the next 20 minutes, and to really sort of take this opportunity to reestablish our relationship with God, and to sort of rethink through the way we've planned life out to be, right? Is to really question our goals and our motives and the things that we're working towards, and really assess whether doing those things that we have, those aspirations that we have, those goals that we have, are they really worth this lifetime that I've been blessed with? Would I be happy at the end of my life knowing that those are the things I chased when I could have been focusing on things which are far more profound in regards to my existence and my purpose? Because God tells us in the Quran, and as He's told us through all of the messengers throughout history, that He created us for no other reason except to worship Him. And essentially that's what it's about. Worshipping Allah, knowing Allah, meaning doing good things, living a good life, helping others, being of service to humanity, being of service to your parents, being of service to your family, all of these things. And like I said in the beginning, and I'll wrap up on this point, one of the ways we could be of service to humanity right now is to keep our distance and to follow the guidelines that we've been given, and to take it really seriously, to try and overcome this pandemic, this outbreak as quick as we can, so we can return back to life, normal life. But when we return back to life, hopefully we return in a far better state than we went into this outbreak, God willing, inshallah. That being said, let me just see if there's any quick questions, because it's closing in on Maghrib, and it's time for Maghrib now, so I'm going to quickly go. Inshallah. Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll end on this point. One of the brothers said that, yeah, absolutely, this outbreak may be a blessing in disguise for some people. Absolutely. Everything that happens, there's good behind everything. And for us to access that good behind every trial and every tribulation, we have to have a few things in place. Number one, we have to recognize what life is all about. Number two, we have to re-establish our connection with our Creator and turn to Allah and have a strong relationship with Him and try to attain that. Number three, we have to practice certain virtues that we have as human beings, which we have let go of, such as patience. You know, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about patience throughout the Quran. He mentions that He is with the patient. Patience is a great virtue. And if we practice patience, it puts us in the right mindset to be able to truly benefit from the tests and tribulations that we're going through. And to really, you know, I'll end on this. I heard a scholar once say that in every trial and tribulation, there is a scholarship to be gained. Now, for us to gain that scholarship, we have to implement patience. We have to be patient and be in the right mindset to be able to think clearly and to be able to benefit from whatever we're going through in any situation. So on that note, Jazakallah khair, brothers and sisters and friends, for coming on. May God bless you. May God make this easy for all of us. I'll probably check in with you guys maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have the discussions there. And until next time, take care.